Welcome back, everybody. We're live for another GYLS Momentum session, the first one of 2017. We're about halfway through the GYLS year, mid-checkpoint, and it's time for New Year's resolutions. So this is going to be a double awesome session. We have two amazing speakers from pretty close in the world, but the time zone is all the way around the entire world. We've got Lexi here from Hawaii, and I think Vicky's in New Zealand right now, if I'm not correct, or are you in Tasmania? Where are you right now?
I'm in Tassie at the moment.
That's awesome. And so it's, for me right now, it's 9 p.m. It's 9:15 in Toronto. It's, I think, 4 p.m. in the afternoon for Lexi, and it's tomorrow morning for Vicki, right?
Tomorrow afternoon.
It's tomorrow afternoon? Oh my goodness. That's wild. So I'm going to give them a quick intro, but before that, quick housekeeping things, which you guys all know. In the Momentum session event or in the grads group, wherever you want, pin to the link where you access this video. You can comment your questions there, any comments you guys have, anything you want to say. And without further ado, I'll pass it over to Lexi so you can introduce yourself.
Hi guys, I'm Lexi and I was the youth lead for Team 7 Team Phoenix. And we're going to talk about goals today, and I'm super excited to be with you guys.
Awesome. And we'll pass it to Vicki now. I believe, Lexi, if you have a screen share thing, you can turn that on for your slides. And here's Vicki.
Hey GYLS, how are you? Reaching you all the way from Tassie. As Sergio said, I was actually in New Zealand yesterday and flew back to Tasmania today. It was my first flight of the day. Been the team lead for Team Phoenix now for the past 4 years, and really excited to be sharing with you this particular session. When Sergio asked, which particular month I wanted, I said January, please. Can I have January? Because it's, it's the new year, it's the new you, but it's not just about resolutions. So have we got our slideshow happening?
Yeah, we're all set with the slides. That is what everyone's seeing right now.
That's what everyone's seeing. So it's about our goals, not our resolutions. And Team Phoenix, we had a saying here for Team Phoenix. It was Team Phoenix recreate, rise up and celebrate. And of course, New Year is the time when we're all doing our celebrating, but it's also about recreating ourselves. So, what is it about New Year's resolutions? New Year's resolutions, 42%. Our next slide, we've got a particular, one of my favorite pictures of the Sydney Harbour Bridge at New Year's. And 42% of people that make New Year's resolutions, they actually fail to achieve them. And would you believe another 42% don't even make them to start with? So a New Year's resolution sometimes simply means a new start for old habits. We don't really want to do that. One of our other team leads, Brigitte, shared on Facebook a couple of days ago a particular video all about New Year's resolutions, and Lexi and I thought it was a fantastic idea to start with. So we have another guest speaker. And here she is.
I have a problem with New Year's resolutions, not because they often fail or because they're too difficult, and not because I'm bad at them either. I mean, I've only been alive for 4 New Years. No, I have a problem with resolutions because people think that that's it. It's for one time to change. Now, don't get me wrong, we definitely all need change. I have no idea how to ride a bicycle. I know, but I have no idea what a toilet is for. And some of you, yeah, you probably should get out of the house more. But one big decision probably isn't going to do it. Sorry. So now what? Flush your resolutions down the toilet for one my little brother can't use? Of course not. Keep your resolutions, but go easy on yourself. Will you change? Maybe, but probably won't happen in one big moment. It'll happen in thousands of little moments. Every time you choose to forgive or slow down or be grateful or stay calm, each little moment that you choose what's right instead of what's easy, faith instead of doubt, love instead of hate, that's where the change happens. Even if you fail 1 or 2 or 30 times, it's okay. You've got thousands of more little moments ahead of you. You'll get better. So Happy New Year, God bless, and I'm off to ask my dad to get a book, if they're all a pony. Bye!
So as you can see, we're it's not just a one-time thing. It's a case of, you know, taking the time and effort. And what we're going to do here in this particular session is give you some strategies to help you achieve your goals, because we really do need to take it easy on ourselves. And as Sergio said, we are at our halfway point now. And about 6 months ago, remember, we were all at GYLS. So we're going to focus on some daily practices that we can put into now. So 6 months ago, you actually did a goal-setting workshop at GYLS. And what I'd like you to do now is take a moment and have a think about what it was. You know, now is a really great time to see where we're at. What were some of the goals that you set at GYLS? What do you need to do to accomplish those goals? Are you on track at the moment with the goals? Have you achieved some of them already? Is there some that you're still working on? What about some new goals for 2017 that you'd like to add to your goals? We have 3 really key questions to help keep yourself on track. You may like to take your pen and paper and write these down. The first question is, what is it that I need to stop doing? What is it that I need to stop doing? The second question is, what is it that I need to start doing to help me achieve my goals? What is it I need to start doing? And the third very important question is, what is it that I need to keep doing? So there may be some things that aren't really working for you well now, maybe a lot of things that you know you've got to start doing. But remember, there are also lots of things out there that we're doing and we're doing really well, and we want to keep on doing those things to help us move towards our goals. And speaking of our goals, Lexi is going to share just some reminders with you on what it is that we need to remember about setting our goals.
Okay, so goal setting, the first step is to have a vision. You have to know what you want for yourself, and it's important when you're deciding what you want that it's for yourself and not what other people want for you, because if you're not working on your own goals, then you're working on other people's, and that's okay for a while, but it won't get you where you want to be in the end. And you also need to believe that you can achieve your goals. Don't doubt yourself. And one saying that I liked about this was, this must change now. I must change this now. I can change this now. And so when thinking of your goals, you need to make a commitment to change whatever it is. Otherwise, you won't be able to achieve it. And another really important part of goal setting is thinking about what your outcome is. Why do you want this goal? And what is it going to mean to you? And what is it going to mean to the people around you? So I have a few different techniques for achieving your goals. The first is that it needs to be your top priority, because you need to want your goals more than you want anything else. Otherwise, you're going to push them off and you won't achieve your goals. So like the picture says, your future is created by what you do today, not tomorrow. And another technique that's really helpful is writing down your goals and placing them somewhere that you can see them every day. And there's a bunch of different ways you can do this. I wrote them on Post-it notes and just hung them around my room. You can set a reminder on your phone, or you can make a vision board, which is really cool, and you can hang that up around your room. Really anything, you can be really unique with that, but it's important that you can see your goals every day and be reminded of them. Another really important part of achieving your goals is planning, because inside of a big goal, you have lots of little steps and little goals. And so sometimes it's the little things that are the most important because they add up and you need to schedule it out. So maybe saying like, what do I need to do this month to get closer to achieving my goal? And then when you achieve those tiny goals inside the month, then you can celebrate and be proud of yourself for everything that you've done and just like see your progress of getting closer to achieving your goal. And persistence is really important, because even when the odds are against you, you can't give up. If you fail, then you just need to use a different strategy. Small failures aren't an excuse to give up, because if you slip up, then you just need to get back up and do it again. You have to be flexible, because if something doesn't work out the way that you want it to, then you just need to do it differently. You can't give up on your goals, otherwise you'll never achieve them. So staying motivated, it can be hard, but some techniques are knowing why it's important to you, because you've probably heard this before. When you feel like quitting, think about why you started. It's important to have a strong why, because if you have a strong why and you know why you're doing this, then it's a lot easier to achieve your goals. You also have to stay focused. Where attention goes, energy flows, and focus is the solution to staying motivated. Every morning, you can ask yourself what you can do to bring yourself closer to achieving your goals. And then one that I really like is envisioning. Like, envision yourself accomplishing your goals and see yourself, feel how happy you'll be and how proud you'll be and how proud the people you love will be. And when I envision my goals, it really helps me, because I can see that I'm close and I just can't give up because I want this thing so badly. So Vicki is going to give you an example in her life where she applied these techniques.
Even thanks, Lexi. When I was putting together all these pictures, it really made me remember the times and why the goals were important to me. Remember last session with Suzanne and Lucas, how they talked about your mission and your vision and how important that is. I had a discussion with a friend a couple of days ago, and she was sharing with me that she felt like that she'd fallen off track. And one of the things that I said to her that is really important for me, and Lexi's already talked about it, is that it's not just necessarily about the end goal. We have to really remember, the little steps. So one of the things that I do is I type my list out and I call it Vicki's Vision. And my latest one is a 30-day game plan. And my 30-day game plan is broken down into a couple of different areas. The pictures that you can see of the mountains and the road and the car, that's actually part of my professional goals. and I'm a business owner in New Zealand, and we run a rental car business. And as you can imagine, over the Christmas and New Year period, we are very, very busy. So I have a lot of goals that are specifically, targets that we want to achieve with that particular business. I also travel a lot, and the sunset photo was taken last night on the way from Melbourne to Hobart. On the way home, I used to ask for the aisle seats, but now I'm always asking for the window seats. And if I go through my phone, I have copious pictures of clouds. And it's part of both personal and professional goals, because I do travel personally. And another one of the areas that's really important to me with goal setting is my contribution goals. And you can see a photo there of 2, 4, 7 of us girls. And the photo in the middle, this was actually taken last year at GYLS India, our very first one outside of the United States. And we had nearly 200 teenagers there, which was absolutely awesome. And we had the amazing Anand taking us through most of it. We also had Felix and a couple of other speakers. But for me, that's one of my contribution goals, and that's a reason that I'm keep coming back to GYLS, and I've been fortunate enough now to be for the last 4 years. It's one of the things that I set myself. It's not making a goal about having a goal for yourself is one thing. Having a goal where you're contributing to others gives you even more purpose and passion. And I know that a lot of you have taken what you've learned at GYLS and have taken it to your own home, your own schools, and be using it to help not just yourself achieve your goals, but to help others achieve their goals. And the last little picture in the top corner is actually also about contribution. I get to go to Fiji and help out at Tony Robbins events there. So having different categories for your goals is really important. And the more specific that you can get, the more real you can make it for yourself. One of the goals that you might have, that obviously there's a little bit of an age difference here. Lexi was sharing with me and is about to share with the rest of you some of her particular goals. And just take some notes, because there's some really key things that will help you if you also have these particular goals.
So one of my goals since my sophomore year in high school is to go to a good college. And Vicki and I thought that a lot of people might have a similar goal, but also if you don't, you can just take the processes that I used and apply them to your goals. Mm-hmm. So first, 3 years ago, I was thinking about why I want to go to college. And I think that college is really important for my personal growth, and growth is something that I think is really important. And then in the future, I want to become a doctor. So college is really important for my future and my career goals. So the first thing I did was think of a vision of what kind of college I wanted, because there's thousands of colleges. And so that involved the location, the size, and if it had and researching the different colleges, because I was committed to finding one, and I narrowed it down, and I went and visited those colleges too to see if it was the right fit for me. And after that, I made a vision board, and I put pictures of different colleges that I liked, and I hung it on my wall so I could see it each day. And the picture of me is a picture of me visiting one of my colleges. It's Claremont McKenna. And my colleges, I'm applying to 14 of them. And the reason why I'm applying to so many is because a lot of them are very hard to get into. Like, they have like a 10% acceptance rate or less. So it's very risky because there's a huge chance that I won't get in. But something about achieving your goals is that you have to take risks sometimes, because the biggest risk of all is not taking any risks. And I know that some of these schools are very hard to get into, but they're also what are going to offer me the opportunity later in my future. So I decided to take those risks. And this goal involved a lot of planning, because with 14 different colleges, they all have different application dates, and I had 37 essays to write. So they started in August when the common application opened, and my first one was due in October, and my last one was due January 5th. So I literally just finished all my college applications, and that required a lot of planning. I had to break it up each month and week and say, what am I going to do this week so that I can finish and I'll be able to get through 37 essays. And
that's a lot of essays, Lexi.
Yes, it was really hard, but breaking it up into little steps really helped me, because if I just thought about like all of them at once, then I would get super stressed out. But thinking about them in little steps made it easier. And then I applied to one college, and like I would feel accomplished. And it also took a lot of persistence and flexibility, because so a lot of schools take the common application, and with that you have one essay that you send to each school, and that's probably your longest and the one you spend the most time on. And the other essays I had were just specifically for certain schools. So the one that I sent to everyone, I spent a lot of time writing it, and it was good, but I realized that it wasn't great and I needed something that was great. So I had to be flexible, and I decided that I would rewrite it. So I rewrote the entire thing, and it took a long time. And it was actually about GYLS. So GYLS is a really good topic to write about. But it was totally worth it, because one of my colleges emailed me and they said that my essay was one of the best that they've read in a really long time from any applications.
Wow, well done. That's awesome.
Thank you. And
have you heard back from that school yet, that college?
Yeah, that college accepted me, and they also asked me to come for an interview for a full scholarship.
Awesome.
So yeah, right now the next thing I'm doing is interviewing. Some colleges, like if they're interested in you or if they want to give you a scholarship, they require an interview. And one of my schools I was applying to was Harvard, and they asked me to do an interview with them tomorrow. So I'm going to be doing that tomorrow.
Please, I'm guessing you're doing this one by Skype or by phone. You're not actually flying over there.
No, I'm meeting someone who lives on Maui.
Oh, wow.
And then interviewing with them. Yeah.
And what are some of the things that you're doing is this going to be your second interview or your first interview, or you've done a few?
This is actually my first interview.
Cool. You excited?
Yes, I'm very excited.
And when will you actually get down to the choosing process?
So a lot of my schools don't let me know until April. That's like, if you apply regular decision, then that's the time that they usually will let you know. And they'll give you your package, like how much it costs and everything, April. And then you have to decide by May 1st. So that's why it's good to know everything about your college and visit it if possible, because you only have 3 weeks to choose your college.
And this is obviously a goal that has been a long time in coming. It's not something that you've just started applying for in the last, 6 months. You've been thinking about this for a while, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it for like 3 years.
How long? You said 3, didn't you? Not 30.
Yeah, 3.
Awesome. And how will you feel when you get your final outcome, your final goal? The celebration will actually be the going to college?
Yeah, I'm gonna be very excited. I like to envision myself like getting accepted to help motivate me when I was writing the essays, and I'm really, really excited to go to college. I think it's going to be really fun.
And you will be absolutely awesome there.
Oh, thank you.
Now, speaking of goals and some of the things that we set, Sergio, have you, not wanting to put you on the spot there or anything, but I love your email address at Run Your Mission. Have you got a moment to share some of your goals with everyone?
Of course. I've got them all right here. Got them on my phone. The first top note, I don't know if that's backwards for you guys or not, 2017 outcomes.
Yeah.
We open that up. And that's all of it. Well, it's actually not that long. January 2nd, I don't know if you can read that. That might be kind of small. But I made them. So January 2nd here was a holiday. It was a Monday because the first landed on Sunday. And so all day, the Monday 2nd of January was goal setting. And I broke mine up into categories. I'm not sure how many people watching are familiar with RPM or Tony's program Time of Your Life. But basically, I kind of RPM'd it, and I think there's probably got to be a momentum session on RPM at some point. So I would just go back into the archives and check them out. Basically, what I did was break my goals up into categories. So I have my health goals, my relationship goals, work and mission, and then finance, which are kind of separate. I have growth goals, contribution goals, and I have all kinds of stuff. I've got, I think, 3 like okay medium ones, and then 1 huge one that is like scary, where you have to grow significantly to even come close to it. So that's how I did mine.
And mate, the question I have to ask is, how does that make you feel?
It feels awesome. It feels, the feeling of right now at the beginning of the process is excitement, because I obviously don't have any of them yet, and currently as it stands, I couldn't have any of it. And so you have to grow into the kind of person who could achieve that stuff. And so you feel excited for the process. It's not even so much like I'm excited to finally have the thing. I'm excited for the journey more than the actual destination.
I'm so with you on that, because when I sat down a couple of days ago to relook at my goals, just the actual physically putting it on paper. And one of the big goals that I had is I tend to allow the emails to take over my life. So one of the goals, which pretty much I did my goals that night, and then the next day I started, and the goal was every single day before I opened my emails on my computer, I made it a priority that I have to actually, plan my day. What are the 3 areas I want to work on? Who are the people that I need to contact? And made that the priority. So the next morning, I was really, really tempted to open my emails straight away. And I'm like, no, it's done. I have to do this first. And I'd allowed myself 15 to 20 minutes. And I was so focused on knowing exactly what my outcomes for the day were that I was able to get it done in 5 minutes. And just making that part of my daily practice is going to help me, achieve the bigger goals even more. The next slide we have is questions. Have we got any questions on our page, Sergio?
Let me see. We have a couple different people liking it. John Burgess just liked it, so I don't know if he's on here. Shout out to John.
Hey,
I'm not sure if we have any questions. No one's commented as of yet. So if you guys are watching, if you have any questions, it may be a weird time right now because it's 12 hours ahead of the normal session time. But a lot of people will be watching it after. So what do you think? So I'll flip it back to you. What do you think, and both of you obviously, what do you think would be some questions that some people would have right now in terms of setting goals, maybe New Year's resolutions? I've never done this before. How do I start? How do I structure them? What kind of reason why do I want to have? What kind of time frames do I want to play with? So what do you guys think are some questions that some people would have?
That's a lot of questions, Sergio.
That was a whole bunch for you guys to play with.
Yeah, thanks, Nate. I'll start off with reminding people that they've actually had the experience of setting goals. So it's not a case of how do I start, it's a case of remembering exactly what it is that I've done. And as Lexi said, it's not just the big end goal, it's all the little goals along the way that are really, really important. And when you're watching this, if you're not watching it live with us, you get the opportunity to make lots of notes. You know, one of the things that some of us have said may trigger something for you, and it's like, oh yeah, that's really important to me, or yeah, I really want to know how to, you know, make something, have a goal that I need to do every day. Like one of my daily goals, for example, for my health is I really need to drink more water. And by having that somewhere that I can see it as a reminder, because we often get caught up in things, and if we're not doing our own goals, we're helping somebody else achieve theirs. So let's always remember that whilst it's okay to be helping other people achieve their goals, we also want to be working on our own goals. Lexi, do you want to add something to that?
Yeah, and some goals you want to change something. So if your goal is the type where you want to make a change in your life, the little saying that I said earlier, but I don't know if everyone caught it because it was fast, but think about something that you want to change for when you're trying to think about what your goal should be, and this must change now. I must change this now, and I can change it now. Because goals are usually something that are personal, and they're something that you want to change in your life. So you're the one who has to change it.
We're not going to be relying on somebody else to do the changes. As you said, this must change, I must change it. And we are responsible for our own actions. And another thing that you mentioned earlier, Lexi, that is incredibly important when we're on the path of achieving our goals is, are we going to fall off the wagon sometimes? Absolutely. When you do go off track, it's a case of just picking yourself up and getting back on the track that you want to be on. Like, for example, if one of your goals is, you know, I really want to focus on being more healthy by eating healthy. So if you go and, you know, have a chocolate cake or, you know, eat something that's not in your health plan, it's not like it means you can't ever achieve that goal. It's like, okay, so I took a sidetrack. Now what is it that's going to get me back on track? So that's incredibly important.
So
Yeah.
I've actually got a question. It's interesting because my brother Huang made a video about this one time, and it was a really interesting concept. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the concept of SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Brendan Burchard has an interesting flip on that called dumb goals, which are dream-driven. I think the U is unrealistic. M, I forget what the other things are, but basically it's like dreaming big. And Juan kind of blended them where he goes, you should have, what is it? I think it's unrealistic goals, realistic execution, something along those lines, where the vision is huge, but the execution to reach it is measurable and realistic. So what do you guys think in terms of setting up your goals where they're not too scary versus dreaming really big and going for something like landing a rocket ship on the moon or flying an airplane, like something so far beyond what is currently reality? What do you guys think about setting your goals huge and then the execution, obviously?
You can
Lexi, your audio is super not working right now. I mean, Vicki just didn't
The
catch
time
any
is
of
slowing. The time is slowing down in Hawaii at the moment.
that. Vicky, or sorry, Lexi, you can stop sharing your screen since the slides are done. That might help with the audio because I know it takes a bit more data to stream the thing. So Vicky, you can go first while Lexi turns her screen
Absolutely.
off.
Thanks. I think it's important to have a combination of both. One of the things that is really key to remember is that your brain can't process negatives. So it doesn't know the difference between, if you say, I don't want something, it's still going to make you focus on what it is because it actually just takes the negative out. I think that it's really important to have huge, big, audacious visions, dreams, because if we don't put it out there and just by having the thought, we're putting it out there into the universe. And if we don't do that, if we leave it somewhere bottled up inside us, it's going to be even harder to achieve it. That said, whatever goal you have, it's not just about the goal. It's about, as you said, Sergio, it's about the steps that we're going to take to get there. So really important to have big goals, have little goals, because the thing is that if you only have one and not the other, let's just say, for example, you just set yourself a daily, easy, achievable goal, then there's not a huge amount of growth there. But if you have one of those massive, big visions, dreams, then by having that, you can then set the steps up to get there. So I think it's really important to have a combination of both. I mean, one of my goals, which I haven't managed to achieve yet, is actually learning Mandarin. And I'm taking little steps, but then I'll take a big backward step because I'm like, I'm never going to be able to speak Mandarin fluently like a fluent Mandarin speaker. And then I, need to get myself back on track. But it's just having the big goals. I mean, your goal might be president of the United States or, prime minister of your country. Is that achievable? Well, maybe not in the next 12 months, but it's certainly something that, you can aim for in the next 20 years. That's my take on those.
That's a really good point. And Lexi, just before you go in on that, I teach snowboarding. I've been teaching for the past 11 years, and we use the SMART goal system for teaching snowboarding because it's good to have smart and realistic goals when you're doing dangerous stuff. And the difference between attainable and realistic is kind of what you just touched on, where realistic means it's just physically possible. Attainable means it's somewhat within reach. You actually don't need to grow that much. So that's why SMART goals are actually kind of boring, because for it to be attainable means there isn't really significant room to grow to achieve it. It should be within your reach already, which is a little bit boring. SMART goals are cool in certain instances, but it is important for it to be somewhat attainable. It's in between attainable and realistic, where it's not quite currently attainable. You have to grow, but it is realistic long term. So that's kind of a cool distinction. Set your goals in between attainable and realistic. Send it to.
Just before you go on, Lexi, just to close off on that, Sergio, it's if you physically don't write it down, like what you're doing by writing it down, whether it be typing it into your phone, whether it be typing on a computer or writing it in your journal, you're actually bringing it to the fore of your mind. So it's helping you to focus on what it is, whether it be big, whether it be small, but just that little act of writing it, it's not a little act, it's such a huge important act of writing it down, getting it in front of you. That's going to make it more top of mind. So it's going to mean, okay, now I know where it is I want to go, whether it's just to the end of the block or whether it's, you know, thousands of miles away. Now I know where it is that I want to go.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Lexi, you're on.
Okay, is my audio working?
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
set.
I think it's really important to have big goals, but when you have them, you have to remember that it's going to take a lot of time and persistence, because you might fail in different steps, but if you really want it, then you have to keep going. And when you have a really big dream, a lot of people might not support you in that, but you have to believe in yourself and keep going. And also with big dreams, it takes a lot more planning, and you're going to have to put a lot of effort into it and make sure that it's your top priority. Otherwise, you won't be able to achieve it because it takes a lot of time.
Yeah, for sure. We've got about 5, maybe 10 more minutes, so I'm not sure if we have any questions on Facebook right now. So if you guys just want to give us a final thought on New Year's resolutions, setting goals, halfway point from GYLS. Ooh, applications are actually coming out pretty soon, January-ish, maybe February. So that's exciting. So Lexi, you can go first, and then Vicki can finish us off.
Okay. I think that New Year's resolutions, even though a majority of people don't set them or never accomplish them, I think that they're super possible to accomplish because they're just like other goals. You just need to make sure that you're committed to them and it's something that you really want. You have to have the strong reason why. And like the little girl said, it's not going to come in one time. It's not just a decision that you made and that's it. It's a lot of time, effort, persistence. But I know that each of you can accomplish all your goals that you have for 2017 if you put your mind to it, because we are all capable of that. And I think New Year's resolutions are actually a great thing, even though some people look down on them, because it's a fresh start and there's so much you can accomplish in a year if you know how and you keep your mind to it.
Awesome. All right. I'll send it to Vicki. You can wrap us up.
Okay, thanks, Sergio. As Sergio said, the GYLS applications are coming up shortly, so remember to complete yours and have a think about, you know, who else will benefit from being at GYLS? Somebody else in your family, friends? Think about reminding them to pop their application in as well, because we would love to see as many people back at GYLS as possible. And always remember that it's not just the outcome, the goal, the resolution. It's also the journey of getting there. So remember, both of these things are equally important. And one further thing that we have the opportunity to do, and I encourage everybody in the next, I'll give you about a week to post minimum of one goal they want to achieve in the next 12 months, be it something that they actually wrote down when they were at GYLS or something that they've wanted to add since listening to this session on goal setting, is to add it publicly. We've got a Facebook page there where we get to share things with each other. And how much more concrete does it make it? Not just having it written down for yourself, but when you share it with others, it makes it even more out there, even more attainable, even more sustainable. So I encourage everybody to share, whether it be a big goal or a little goal, just to share one of your goals on our Facebook page, which is an awesome, safe environment. And you've also got the support of everybody that's been there. So that's your mission in the next 7 days. Whether you choose to accept it or not is totally up to you.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for an amazing session. In 2 weeks, we've got George from Portugal, but he'll be in Brazil, which is interesting. And then in February, we've got Carolyn lined up. So we've got a bunch of awesome sessions in the next coming little while, ready for 2017. Make sure when the applications come up for GYLS, you do them right away. Don't put those off. And we'll see you guys again soon.